We're still unsure what the Chargers' passing game will look like in Week 3. I'm Joe Dolan, and this is the Fantasy Points Daily Lineup for Thursday, September 22nd, 2022.
It's time for the FantasyPoints.com Daily Lineup. Staying on top of the latest news and updates around the NFL. Rise and shine, folks. We're taking the field. Here's your host, FantasyPoints.com's Joe Dolan.
With a chance to start at quarterback, in Week 3 we have the Chargers' Justin Herbert. Now, Herbert is feeling better this week and was a limited practice participant Wednesday after doing some throwing on Tuesday. That is per Lindsey Theory of ESPN.com. Herbert is recovering from a rib cartilage injury suffered last Thursday night against Kansas City. NFL Network's Bridget Condon tweeted that Justin Herbert was skipping, twisting, and stretching during warm-ups, but only participated in drills where he handed off the ball during the portion of practice open to the media today. Chase Daniel was working with the ones. That was NFL Network's Bridget Condon's tweet. Herbert was wearing protective equipment on his ribs, according to head coach Brandon Staley, but it's likely a good sign he was out there to practice at all on Wednesday. I am tentatively expecting him to start against the Jaguars in Week 3, but we'll learn more today and tomorrow. In our first running back spot is someone who is day-to-day. The Cardinals, day-to-day. We'll get to that. The Cardinals' James Conner didn't take part in practice on Wednesday, according to Tyler Drake of ArizonaSports.com. Conner is recovering from an ankle injury suffered during last week's game against the Raiders, missing the entire second half and overtime. So Coach Cliff Kingsbury said he is day-to-day. And now here is a reminder. If Cliff Kingsbury calls you day-to-day, that's not good news. It means literally nothing. Rondale Moore is still out of practice after being called day-to-day on September 12th with his hamstring injury. And last season, DeAndre Hopkins missed a month of action after Cliff called him day-to-day. With Conner missing the second half and overtime of the Cardinals' comeback win over the Raiders in Week 2, Darrell Williams and Eno Benjamin split snaps 37-32 in favor of Williams, who didn't play an offensive snap in Week 1. Darrell seemed to step into Conner's early down role, while Benjamin's scat back role was just slightly expanded. He appears truly questionable, that's Conner, for Week 3 against the Rams. Now, both Williams and Benjamin would be startable flex options if Conner can't go. In our second running back spot, we have someone who may make his season debut in Week 3. Ravens coach John Harbaugh told reporters on Monday that running back J.K. Dobbins would remain week to week. Man, if day-to-day means you're not going to play, I can't even imagine what week to week means. Oh, boy. He remains week to week as he recovers from last year's serious knee injury, J.K. Dobbins is. But Dobbins practiced in full on Wednesday, the second straight week he's gotten a full practice in. Now, the Ravens' run game has been one of the worst in football, despite having Lamar Jackson, which should be impossible. Through 2 games, Ravens running backs had 30 carries for 79 yards. Lamar had 75 yards on his touchdown run in Week 2 alone. Now, it's possible that the Ravens' complete inability to run the ball to close out a huge lead was a big reason they lost to Miami in Week 2, and it put a lot of pressure on their decimated secondary. Dobbins probably won't be an instant fix because he's coming back from a catastrophic injury, but he's likely to be instantly better than the husk of Mike Davis or whatever else the Ravens have been throwing out there. We'll want to get a set of eyeballs on him before putting him in a lineup, however. Now, in our first wide receiver spot, Keenan Allen hopes he plays. Allen was able to do some individual work during Wednesday's practice, Jeff Miller of the Los Angeles Times reports. Allen missed last week's game against the Chiefs on Thursday night with a hamstring injury suffered in Week 1, but the fact he's only doing individual drills on Wednesday of this week suggests he probably wasn't very close to playing against the Chiefs. Still, it is a good sign he's practicing at all. After practice, Allen said, quote, he's got a shot to play in Sunday's game against Jacksonville. This is per Daniel Popper of The Athletic. Now, it appears he's truly questionable for Sunday against the Jags, and my read on the situation is that Justin Herbert has a better chance to play than Allen does. In Allen's stead in Week 2, Josh Palmer actually led the Chargers with 46 routes run per our Fantasy Points data squad. Though he saw the fourth most targets on the team at 9, with Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, and Gerald Everett all getting 10. Palmer would be a viable wide receiver 3 yet again if Allen doesn't play. At our other wide receiver spot, the Buccaneers remain, they are decimated. Mike Evans' 1-game suspension for his altercation with the Saints' Marshawn Lattimore has been officially upheld by the NFL on Wednesday. That is per Adam Schefter of ESPN. The appeal was heard by former NFL wide receiver James Thrash. You might remember him from his tenure with the Philadelphia Eagles, where he and Todd Pinkston earned the ever-loving Trash and Stinkston moniker. Evans, that was for Kukanis, by the way. Evans will miss the Sunday afternoon tilt with the Packers. The Buccaneers wide receiver group is seriously beat up. With Evans out, Chris Godwin, highly unlikely to play through his hamstring injury, and Julio Jones' knee having him uncertain. It is a mess. Now, Julio missed practice on Wednesday, but it's hard to tell if this is because Julio can't play through the knee injury that cost him week 2, or if it's veteran rest, or both. The Bucs have planned to give him Wednesdays off in practice, just like with the Tom Brady situation that's kind of up in the air right now. Now, we'll know more on Thursday about Julio. If he plays, though, in week 3, he's likely to catch the eye of Packers top corner Jair Alexander, given Mike Evans is suspended. Meanwhile, Russell Gage played through a hamstring injury in week 2 and saw 6 targets. He is likely being managed because the Bucs need him desperately against the Packers on Sunday. Rashad Perriman scored against the Saints in week 2, but he has chronic knee issues and is limited in practice. Scotty Miller led the team with 8 targets in week 2. Oh, and he picked up a calf injury that has him limited in practice this week. Tampa Bay has 7 wide receivers on its active roster, and that doesn't include Evans because he's on the suspended list. The only 2 not on the injury report in some fashion are Jaylon Darden and someone named Kaylon Geiger. Given the state of their group, the Bucs signed Cole Beasley, of all people, to their practice squad. I'd like to say he's not a viable stash, but someone's got to play this week. Now, in our flex spot, we have news from New England. Patriots wide receiver Jacoby Myers was a surprise inclusion on the injury report on Wednesday, missing practice with a knee injury. Per NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, Myers was out of practice to get tests on his knee. Rappaport tweeted, quote, "Tests showed nothing significant, and his status will be determined later in the week." Myers is tied for 10th among all wide receivers with 13 catches and is Mac Jones' favorite chain mover. He would have a chance to have a big game against the Ravens' decimated secondary in week 3 if he goes. That appears to be seriously in doubt at this point. Through 2 games, Myers and Devontae Parker lead the Patriots with 58 routes run apiece, but Myers has 19 targets to Parker's 4. This is per Fantasy Points data. Parker's 6.9% targets per route run rate makes him one of the NFL's all-cardio team leaders. Among all players in the top 100 in routes run, only Quez Watkins of Philadelphia has been targeted on a lower percentage of routes than has Parker. I'm Joe Dolan, and this has been the Fantasy Points Daily Lineup on Thursday, September 22nd. Remember to like this video, hit that thumbs up. That's all you got to do. Comment on the video and subscribe to the Fantasy Points channel for the daily lineup and all of our videos. And if you want a package at fantasypoints.com, where we're really excited to unveil what we've been doing behind the scenes here in the coming weeks, just use code lineup22, get an extra 10% off any package. You will be glad you did, because both packages, our standard and our premium, give you access to our subscriber Discord, where I'm about to go answer some questions this morning. I'm constantly kind of in and out of there checking. It's an underutilized feature of the website. Less than 10% of our subscribers are actually in it, which is insane. They don't know what they're missing, but those packages will give you that access. Whatever you choose, use the code lineup22 and get your 10% off. I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the Thursday night game, everyone.